Welcome to Uncommon Courtesy.
We give you the courtesy of conversation.
That's uncommonly spoke of.
I'm D-Mac.
I'm Wesley.
And this is the show. So today I want to start off talking about an incident that happened here in Ohio. An 81-year-old Ohio man has been charged with murder after allegedly shooting an Uber driver who he thought she was picking up a package from the man's house. She thought she was. Both appeared to have been victims of scam phone calls, the Clark County Sheriff's Office said in a news release. The Uber driver, Latifah Hall, was found shot multiple times near 81-year-old William Brock's South Charleston home on March 25th. He had called 911. He had injuries to his head and ear and was bleeding when police arrived, according to police reports. Hall, a black woman, was taken to the hospital in Dayton, where she died of her injuries. Now, she is the victim in this, but what happened is, if people read that, it was a scammer that called her, the Uber system, and had a package sent to his house, and the scammer had been messing with him. So they're both victims of scammers. Now, a lot of us, I can tell you have, and I have gotten scam calls. And I want to point this out also. The reason we get scam calls, and I'll read this other article, Trump signs repeal of U.S. broadband privacy rules. And I'm going to read this article to you really quick. U.S. President Trump on Monday signed a repeal of Obama-era broadband privacy rules. The White House said a victory for internet server providers and a blow to privacy advocates. The signing, disclosed in the White House statement late, follows strong criticism of the bill, which is a win for AT&T and companies. Now, see, the bill repeals regulations adopted in October by the Federal Communication Commission under the Obama administration, requiring service providers to do more to protect consumers' privacy than websites like Alphabetical Inc., Google, or Facebook Inc. So basically, it's like the rules have not been taken into effect, but it would have required internet providers to obtain customer servers' consent before using precise geolocations, financial information, health information, children's information, and web browsing history for advertising and marketing. Now, when they passed this, he repealed this bill, that's when we started getting scam calls. Like, you get tons of them. You get scam calls, scam texts. You're like, why is this all happening? And this is the bill and the reason that we're happening. And this is the reason this lady was murdered and this man had to do what he had to do. And also, I want to point this out. Check out, Americans have lost $29.8 billion to phone scams alone over the past couple of years.
Yeah, that's crazy, man. But I want to clear something up. They said that they both were the victim of scams. No, she was the victim of him.
Yeah.
He pulled the gun out on her. He took her phone from her, wouldn't let her leave. And when she went to leave, he shot her. And then when she went to struggle back after being shot, he shot her 2 more times. But all this came from the fact that one of his relatives, with a revolver, it looked like
we saw that. There's video of it. Yes.
Yeah, but before all this happened, the scammer was basically saying that they had his, I guess it was one of his nephews or relatives were in jail. And they're like, hey, we got your relative. And if you don't bring us $12,000, this was like a ransom. They said, we got him for ransom. We're going to kill him. And I'm not sure if they said kill you too or whatever the case may be. And so they sent her to the house to pick up a package, I guess, or whatever. Unbeknownst to her, she's walking into, Wile E. Coyote, whatever his name is. What I'm saying? Elmer Fudd. This dude looked like Elmer Fudd, more or less.
So, I mean, he didn't shoot her because she was black. He shot her because he thought she was part of the kidnapping that was going on with his nephew. See, they both were victims of scams, and it's crazy. Like, I get ones where it's like the person will be like, hey, how are you doing? Are you coming over today? And I'm like, who's this? And they'll be like, oh, this is not Judy? I'm like, no, this is Officer Griff from the FBI. And they keep talking.
I mean, I'm not going to say he shot her because she was black, but I think it made it a little more
easier,
palatable for him.
Yeah.
I mean, when he saw her, it was like, oh, no, you're a part of this. And who knows what color the person was on the phone. I have no clue. I don't know, but I know what you mean. The scam calls have gotten out of control. I mean, what they say, scam likely. I told somebody that should be their rap name. You know what I mean? Like, because it shows up so much. That'd be a cold rap name right there, honestly. But every day we're getting scam calls. I'm probably getting at least about 8 to 10 of them a day.
Yeah. I get tagged. Usually they hit me up on Friday. They're like, today I got one where it's, hey, do you want to work for a job? You have to be 25 years or older. And I was like, well, what's my name? I asked him, you have to, like, especially like if you have friends or family that's on Facebook and, they'll put, what happens on Facebook, people are nosy. So you click an article, oh, I can't believe this person died. You click on that, boom. Now you in there ads trying to sell Ray-Bans to people.
Yeah, it's crazy, man. I mean, it's gotten to a point to where, I'm getting calls, but saying that they're the IRS or sending the police to my house. And, it's like, man, send them then. I ain't tripping, send the police.
Yeah.
You want me to send the police? And it's coming. A lot of them are coming from, Western Asia, which is like the, I'm not sure if it's India or if it's Afghanistan, Pakistan, and I'm not sure where in that area they're coming from over that way. I say Pakistan or India, and some of them are even coming from like the Southeast Asia region, which is like the Philippines or whatever else. And a lot of that's that's what we're getting. I know they have a lot of people over in like Africa, and
I know
Nigeria too.
In Cambodia and stuff, and South. They're actually trafficking people. You didn't hear about that. So in Cambodia, they're trafficking people and forcing them to work inside of these call center facilities and scam people for money.
Is that what they say when they bust into the call center? Everybody's sitting there like, they forced me to be here. I'm not saying they don't. But I mean, that's a quick way to.
Yeah, it's basically slavery. I mean, Cambodia scams. I saw someone post it and I was like, I don't believe that. Then I looked it up and it's like real news. It's like they lure people in, they trap them inside these buildings, and they force them into slavery to make scam calls to Americans to get us for our money.
It's crazy, man. I want to move on to the today. The U.S. Effectively stopped the United Nations from recognizing Palestine as a member of UN. They held a vote today, and out of the 15-member council, 2 members abstained, 12 members said yes, and only 1 member said no.
Well, I mean, also the United States has also been stopping the ceasefire. The United Nations has been calling for a ceasefire, but it has to be unanimous. And every time it doesn't go through, it's because of one country, ours, America.
Yep. And with that, if one of the 5 permanent members says no, then automatically the bill's already shot down.
Yeah.
And America's, of course, we're one of the 5 permanent members. One of the other ones would have been England, Great Britain, whatever you want to call it. And they abstained. They made sure they took themselves off the table to not have to hold any blame for this. But they said that's my biggest thing is that every time I'm watching us at the UN, it's probably not, but every time I see us taking a hard vote on something like the Palestinians, Gaza, any of that kind of stuff, it's always a black person sitting there in place for the United States. And I hate seeing that. I feel like, why are you always putting a black face out in front of this to make it look like we're complicit in this? I'm not sure if that person is who took the vote. I've watched him. I've watched several. I've watched black women. Not, take that vote for us. Don't send us. Send the people who really feel the way that you guys feel, because we don't feel that way. You know what I mean? I don't think that we feel like basically they said that the reason that they don't want to make have the UN make the vote and then help create a state of Palestine is because they feel like it should be done at the negotiating tables with Israel.
Like, well, who was it? Like Michael, what's his name? Michael Steele. They made him the head of the Republican Party. Yeah. And because they were like, we're about to do y'all so dirty, we got to put him up there.
I mean, you look at it, he became head of the Republican Party after Barack Obama.
Barack Obama, yeah.
Became president. It was like, this is what they do. It's like they got a guy, I think his name is
Tim Scott?
Donaldson. No, Byron Donalds. Byron Donalds.
Yeah,
Tim Scott, too.
Byron Daniels.
Donalds.
I got a Daniels. 3rd even black Republican in Congress. Elected in Florida.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, represented in 2016.
Yeah.
No,
I think he's was he elected in 2016 or was he elected?
Yeah, Florida House Representative in 2016, representing Hendry County and East Collier County in the state capital.
Yeah, I mean right now. I mean he's knowledgeable. He's a very knowledgeable individual, and so I respect him for that, because it's not just like a patsy you're sticking out there. I'm not even saying Tim Scott is like that either. Because I think he's probably very knowledgeable when it comes to that, but I feel like he's a bootlicker. You know what I mean? I love you, Donald Trump. What the hell? I'm not trying to say you can't, but who just says that out the blue? It's just strange, man. Like,
hey, people love him. You know what I'm saying?
Not like, man, bro. We're men. At the end of the day, I'm not saying men can't tell each other that they love them, whatever the case may be. But I mean, we're at a press conference and you're talking, and all of a sudden, when I want to say, hey, I just want to tell you that I love you.
You sure that wasn't Tim Scott?
That was Tim Scott. That's what I'm talking about.
Yeah, Tim Scott. Yeah, he looked like a bootlicker.
That's the kind of person he is. I look at him. You look at
he's shining shoes on top of his head.
What's the one dude? What's Clarence Thomas? You know what I mean? They're
Clarence Thomas is a weird one, but he's like one of the most powerful black people in the world or in the country.
You ever watch? I mean, I know we're getting off subject, but I watched a documentary about him and his wife. Man, it's crazy.
Well, man, I saw his wife. She helped plan January 6th and bust people, and then he gets to like proceed over the court cases.
What his wife was involved in, what she should be going to jail.
Tried and prosecuted. Yeah.
You know that he used to be a quasi Black Panther at one point in time.
Really?
Yeah, man. Like, I'm not sure if he was just put there to kind of like, you know what I mean, to be, but he was like going out of college. He was a Black Panther. He used to be like, he was in like a Montessori school or something like that. He was going to become a member of like the cleric or something, whatever that is. But yeah, and it's just weird. I saw that, I was like, what?
How you feel about, I know it's a little off topic, how you feel about them, Joe Biden, clearing student debt, college student debt loans?
I think that's a great thing. I think that, me, I believe that education from, the womb to the tomb should be free, especially in a great nation that we're in right now. You should want to educate. I always say that you want to educate your populace. An educated populace, man, that's when you're solving problems. You're not creating. Right now, we create more problems than what we solve because people don't know anything. We don't have enough. We're not highly educated. We were highly educated. Imagine we wouldn't have problems with water pollution. We wouldn't have the problems that we vote. They keep us dumber, so it makes it easier to keep us separated.
I think like this. So a lot of people, I've read some articles where they're just forgiving the interest. You know what I'm saying? Like if you already paid so much in your interest, that's what's catching people up is the interest.
Mm-hmm.
It's a lot of interest. But to me, I'm like, why don't you forgive all debt? Hey, I bought a car. I didn't know it was going to be that expensive. Just like a college student didn't know about all this expense.
That's different.
No, same thing to me.
I understand what you're saying.
You signed up for it. You signed up for this debt. You should pay it off because a lot of people have done it.
I can see how you could say my car does benefit.
No one told you to go to college and major in English literature because you wanted to go to Kagers every weekend.
That doesn't mean that but at the same time they majored in English literature, they had other things that they were taught during college too that contribute to society. Like there's a lot more people who didn't major in communications than who did. There's a lot of
saying, how about forgive the loan of my house loan?
But do you
forgive my credit card loans?
Do you believe in free education?
Yes.
I know you were saying that you hope levies don't pass. You have a very hard stance.
I don't, the school district out here is highly racist. It's been continuously racist. And no, they should not have continued funding. I'm not voting for that.
So
you don't want to make a change?
So are there no, it's not
college shouldn't be expensive, but also they should teach you
about the school district.
Think about it. They're forgiving student debt loan right now, right? But they're still giving students the same loans. You're not fixing the problem. Just like homelessness, you're not fixing the problem. You're just kicking it down the street.
I mean, it's like at the end of the day, you have to look at it like Social Security. What Social Security first came out, it was.
But I pay into Social Security.
I understand that, but it wasn't for you at first. When Social Security first came out, it was for like widows and like something like people like that. It wasn't for everybody. Everybody didn't have Social Security. It evolved into what it is now, morphed. That's what they're hoping that Obamacare will do. Will morph into universal health care. Started out here, let it become more widely accepted like it has been. And people be like, man, okay, this works. This is a good program. And that's when it'll morph into universal health care.
Yeah.
So we have to understand that it starts somewhere. Like if you had both parties, if we were all educated, we would be like, hey, this makes sense that we shouldn't have to pay for childcare for little babies. We should want them to be educated because when a person's educated, what don't they probably want to do? Commit crimes, go to jail. You know what I mean?
You watch American Greed, man. You put enough money in somebody's face, they're gonna do whatever they need to do with it. I'm saying like this: you took the loan out. You planned on, hey, I'm gonna take this loan out. I'm gonna do this and do that and pay it off. Well, shit didn't go out right. But you still got to pay your loan. Just like if I don't pay my car loan, they're going to come get my car. If I don't pay my home loan, they're going to kick me out my home. So if we're going to forgive student debt, forgive everyone's debt. All of our debt. Let's all start at zero and then mess it back up again.
That's the problem there because you would throw society completely out of whack.
Can I go get a student? Can I go get a loan right now for college and just keep the money and not go to college? And then can they forgive that? Can I do that?
I understand what you're saying, man, but it doesn't, those two things don't equate. You're talking about something that's actually going to create, it creates a bonus for society. You know what I mean? Having a doctor around or having a nurse around or having different people like, or a person who's I even believe going to having an apprenticeship for like become a plumber or whatever the case may be. That should all be free for you too.
Hey, not having to pay my car note or my home note is going to create a better society too. So I have more money to make my home look beautiful. I have more money to make my car look nice and be able to fix my bumper.
So you think everybody should have free cars too?
No.
You get what I'm saying?
So
like that's
why? Wait, maybe depending on where you're at. Why can't we have free cars?
That's the problem. But no, I get what you're saying.
Why can't we have free cars? We're giving away. Hey, you took out this loan. You got a degree. somehow your degree ain't working out for you
I
because
don't think that it's not working out. I think they're just being charged. The reason
the
why
interest sucks. I'll give you that.
No, it's not even just bigger. It's bigger than that because they're already government-backed loans. So the government's already implicitly telling the bank, "I'm going to pay you back, even if this person doesn't." And the banks take what they should do is cut out the middleman. There shouldn't be banks in the middle of that. The federal government should be putting these loans out themselves. But we have such a corrupt government that they said, "Okay, let me figure out a way for this bank to make some more money. Let me middleman these loans. Why am I going to guarantee a loan? We got Fannie and Freddie, we have government loans you can already get. I mean, that are already, why are we letting banks, middleman loans, put percentage rates on things that they're going to get paid for regardless? Why? Take them out.
I mean, I can understand like Americans, a majority of Americans, if you left high school and went to college, you're in debt. There's a lot of people in debt, but you chose to take that loan.
No, I understand.
It wasn't forced on you.
But I understand that. I think that we're looking at this as
you had a plan. Society. It fell through. You still got to pay.
No, I mean, they've been paying. The ones who can pay, they've been paying.
And a lot of people paid it off.
If we're trying to make a great society, I think we got to look further than that. We shouldn't be penalizing people for wanting to educate themselves. The problem is that we don't have enough of that, man. That's why.
Well, that's the whole thing. Like, you say, hey, we want to make a great society, right? I don't see that happening here.
Because our laws are, we don't have free education. We don't have free health care. We're worried about
I'd rather feed the kids in elementary school than give the grown-ups debt relief.
We can go look at a place like Saudi Arabia, where they have, where they're basically giving their people, they give them money just for living there. They free healthcare, free education, free everything, based off of their oil wealth. They live in crime-free cities. We don't do that. We have all these different types of natural resource wealth. We don't do any of that. That's why we're not, because we're such a capitalist society that we allow capitalism to drain our people.
But all their women wear reverse Batman suits. And then people don't understand that. All you can see is their eyes, and then their body's covered up.
That's religion, man. That's two separate things. I mean, that doesn't equate to this. I mean, we can say that what do Christians do that's so much different?
Touch little kids.
I think everybody does that probably in a different way.
Yeah, but the Catholic Church does it too. That's a little off topic.
Yeah, but like what I'm saying, bigger than that. That's what we're saying. If you're looking at other societies, they can do that. Why aren't we doing more of that here?
Because people is greedy. But also, I know better. It's like, for me, it's like I tell the kids, I'm like, hey, don't go to college if you don't have to. Go get a trade. Go to trade school. Be a plumber.
Not everybody want to, become an electrician.
And not everybody want to write English literature while you're trying to duck student debt loan.
Last night in Iraq, south of Baghdad.
Y'all know what I'm talking about.
At a military base used by a military group, Popular Mobilization, was struck by bombs from an unnamed source right now. This happened in Iraq, south of Baghdad, at a military base. And they're everyone's saying, just because of what's been going on in the region, that this could be Israel. I mean, all of a sudden you have an explosion happen there. It could be Iran.
Well, they were saying the explosion in Iran the other night. They were saying, like, this doesn't seem like a normal assault from Israel. They're like something fishy about this.
They said, Al Jazeera said today that America got heads up about that Israel was going to attack Iran. So that kind of tells us that they said they weren't involved, but they did give them a heads up. Hey, we're doing this. And when they said they bombed very close to the nuclear facility to let them know, because it wasn't super deep into Iran, but it was deep enough to let you know we're not bombing a border city. We're going to let you know we can touch you. We can get to Tehran if we need to.
Yeah, they had to cut off. They had to take all the planes and make it a no-fly zone.
What they've actually done is that now the Iranian government is downplaying it. Like everybody's trying to downplay. Israel hasn't come out and explicitly said, "Hey, this is what we did." No one's trying to like puff their chest up, because this could turn into a bigger regional conflict, and nobody wants that. They've already said this. Imagine this. Last night on I think it's CNN, Erin Burnett, on her show, she had the foreign minister or defense minister from Iran on her show, like pretty much I don't believe it was a live segment. Maybe he taped it a little bit before, whatever the case may be. But she was like, do you believe that it could happen tonight? During his segment, I'm not sure if they bombed right before his segment or during his segment.
Remember, he stuttered a little bit, like,
you know what I mean? But,
no.
But think about that, man. So you're pretty much not even wanting to let him get his messaging out at this point in time. If just by him coming, we're gonna exact revenge. He's saying a lot of things he wants America to hear, and kind of get to the point where our people don't want to involve ourselves in this, but they bombed him at the exact moment. Like, we don't care. We're going to show you we don't care. We're gonna show you. We're gonna show out and do what we're gonna do regardless, anyways. So it was kind of a strange thing. But I mean, if they did, whoever did blow up the base in Iraq right now is pretty much a lame duck government. They don't even. I mean, their military is not ready for action with nobody right now. They've been getting. We done bombed inside of Iraq. I think Israel done bombed inside of Iraq. Iran done bombed inside of Iraq.
They're shooting practice missiles in Iraq
crazy.
right now.
It's crazy.
That's cold peace right there.
Yeah, it's kind of crazy. Also, a group from the UN has formed a commission to see about getting war reparations for Haiti from France. They said that basically in the 1800s, early 1800s, Haiti overthrew the French government to become the first freed slave colony in the world.
That from them doing that ended the slave trade, the Atlantic slave trade.
Yeah, absolutely. They said for basically all countries back in the day, they used to have it to where the loser had to pay the victor for beating them. That's what it was. That's pretty much what it was. You had to pay me because I beat you in war. They said that the amount of money I think they took was 150 million francs at the time. That they asked for from Haiti. They came back to Haiti in 1825 after they took over in the early 1800s. They came back in 1825 with a bunch of gunships and had 500 cannons pointed at Haiti, saying basically, "Hey, either you take this deal and pay us this 150 million francs, or we're gonna blow up the island and come back in here, kill you, and turn you back into slaves again." Pretty much. So under duress, Haitians took the deal.
Yeah.
And they knew they didn't have the money to pay for it because they were already under sanctions. So they didn't have the money to pay for it. So what they do, they said, okay, you don't have the money, so we're going to give you a loan from the French banks, put interest and all kinds of fees on top of it. And it ended up taking them 122 years to pay back that loan. It took them to 1947 to pay back that loan. It's crazy because we bought the entire, it was like we made the Louisiana Purchase from France, which is pretty much the whole entire, basically a lot of the South,
the Midwest,
a lot of the entire Midwest, which is like ran all the way up to Canada. That's how far it got us. It was all the way up to Canada. I think North Dakota, all that stuff came from this purchase. So that Nebraska, a lot of you states came from this purchase, which was like 77 times the size of Haiti. Now, that's how much land they bought. I think they sold it to them for, I think it was 80 million francs. You know what I mean? And then they told Haiti, you got to pay me 150 million francs. So they sold you all this land that we have right now. Imagine the wealth that it's given us,
well, they looked at it like this, like how much money are you losing per slave? How many slaves you can bring in? How many slaves you brought in? Slavery is a booming business.
They said by the year, I think it was 1789, that 90% of the island was slaves.
Yeah,
90% were slaves on that island. I mean, it's just crazy, man. But they said that if they made France pay them back right now, just under with interest and everything that is incurred over this amount of time, it would be 150 billion to 200 billion dollars that they would owe Haiti right now, which would change the whole trajectory of Haiti. Yeah, and so me personally, I'm 110%. I feel like they should do. They should have to pay back Burkina Faso. They should also have to pay back Niger and Mali. There's a bunch of other African countries too.
They ain't gonna give them a nickel.
Maybe not, man.
Not a wooden ex-president tooth nickel.
I think that with the way the world is changing, the BRIC nations and people starting to there's other power structures in the world. At one point in time, it was America and Russia and Europe.
Yeah,
that's not the way it is anymore. We're really, if you look at who we're at war with, it's nothing but people of color right now.
Yeah,
that's it. Like these people have our militaries. We have to really legitimately think about at least.
Yeah,
not saying they can.
And America's not winning all them battles. They didn't win against Vietnam. Didn't really win in Afghanistan.
You can't. It's almost impossible to say when you're looking at taking over a country.
Yeah,
you can't. That's almost impossible.
Well, because you got to kill everybody.
You know what I mean? Like if you look at any countries that's taken over another nation, more than likely they've at some point in time they've left. Like imperialization, they colonized all these different countries in Africa, but they left out and what they did is they put their hooks in. We're going to still continue to. You only can, like what France did. You only can sell me all of your gold. You have to sell it for this price. You got to give me your oil at this price. You got to give. This is what they've done to these countries, and a lot of these countries are starting to kick them out of their country. Like you got to go.
Yeah,
you got to get out of here. And this is what we're going to do. And we're no longer going to honor the same deals that we had from before. So that's kind of what's been happening. So I agree. I really hope this works. This is the same commission on the UN that said that blacks deserved reparations. America, would you say they didn't even show
They
up
didn't even show up for it.
They're not coming to listen to that.
Yeah.
You know? But
yeah. So let us know what y'all think. Let us know in the comments. Like, share, subscribe. You got any topics you want us to talk about? Let us know. This is Uncommon Courtesy.
I'm Wesley.
And I'm D-Mac. And that's the show.